Listen to what Interior Secretary Doug Burgum had to say about Trump's tariff strategy and China.
I have a lot of confidence in President Trump to be able to negotiate deals. We've got one of the best negotiators, probably the best negotiating. We've also have a lot of cards in our favor because China imports 11.5 million barrels of oil a day. They import about 25% of the calories they consume every day. And so when we think about the U.S. and us as being a superpower, we're an energy superpower, we're a food superpower, and China is highly dependent.
Gerry Baker joins us this morning. Gerry, great to have you here. If Trump secures a new fair deal with China, and that's a huge if, does that turn into a major political win for him?
Well, as you say, I don't know really what the terms of that deal could possibly be. He's imposed tariffs of upwards of 100% on China. China's retaliated with the same. You just heard from Doug Burgum there, the importance. It was kind of ironic to hear a Trump cabinet member talk about the importance of trade to the U.S. economy when the president is embarked on a policy that is essentially going to cut the U.S. economy off from the rest of the world from a trade point of view. We saw this actually last time, remember, when Trump imposed the tariffs on China in his first term. China retaliated, hit U.S. farm exports to China heavily. And we ended up having to bail out our own farmers because they were so badly hit by it. We're even getting some suggestion that that may be on the cards again. It just shows how, how bad economic policy sort of metastasizes in ways that can only do more harm. So, yeah, let's hope. Look, let's hope this is all about getting a deal which certainly reduces these punitive tariffs we have at the moment. But so far, we're, whatever it is, nearly 3 weeks beyond Liberation Day, and there's no sign that anybody's actually yet come up with any concrete proposals that could amount to a deal.
Yeah. And to your point, Gerry, it seems like when you start granting exemptions and subsidies to U.S. companies that are being hurt by the administration's policy, it just undermines the strategy in the first place. But I want to move on to this. A new op-ed from the Wall Street Journal editorial board says that tariffs are getting in the way of tax reform. How does that happen? How does it put tax cuts at risk?
Well, so the particular argument that the Wall Street Journal editorial page makes today in that piece is about, back to sort of similar point we were just talking about, Ashley, which is that supposedly there's some idea of a tax credit for companies that will be hit by retaliatory tariffs from around the world, just exactly repeating what we did with the farmers back then. The larger problem, of course, is that the president keeps saying that these tariffs will actually produce significant amount of revenue, but at the same time, he also says it will repatriate manufacturing and it will force other countries to change the way they behave. Those two are not consistent. It's either going to generate revenue because we're going to have a lot of people paying a lot of import tariffs, or people are going to bring their manufacturing and other activities back here, and therefore they're not going to be paying any import tariffs. The problem, of course, is that we have this very, very large and growing fiscal deficit. First 6 months of the year, this fiscal year looks like it's going to be bigger than it's ever been outside that period of COVID. Tariffs are not going to help. Even if we do get some revenue from that, they're not going to resolve that bigger problem. They're actually, in the end, because they're probably going to slow the economy, which is what everybody expects. You've just been talking about this. Companies expecting to see significant slowing in growth. It's going to hurt the economy more, which is going to hurt revenues, which is going to hurt the deficit. So, yeah, as I say, when you go off on a process like this that is essentially fundamentally dubious economic policy, it produces all kinds of metastasizing problems as a result.
Right. Metastasizing. I think that's the word of the day. Gerry, thank you very much. Gerry Baker from the Wall Street Journal.